In Melbourne on Monday, a Nissan Leaf caught fire whilst charging and burned down a garage. The pro-EV crowd were quick to pounce on the fact that it wasn't the car itself that caught fire, but a component that had been used with the charging cable that caused it. We all know that the batteries themselves can cause fires, especially if they have been subject to damage or impact. Even small impacts can compromise a cell within the battery and initiate the thermal runaway that can be so catastrophic. But the point that this case raises, however, is that the more people start charging EVs at home, the more likely it is that people will start using cables or other devices that are not designed for EV charging and which themselves will cause a fire risk. Not only do we have to consider the safety of the car itself, but we have to consider the safety of the users as well. And more often than not, user error will be the root cause. Welcome back to MGuy, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. Be sure to follow me on the usual socials for more content, links in the description, and please make sure you're subscribed and have enabled all notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you'd like to support this channel, why not buy me a coffee? Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Fueling of a vehicle is a pretty dangerous business, whether it's combustion engine car or an EV. If you're filling up your car, you're pumping large quantities of a highly flammable liquid at high flow rates into the tank. If you're charging an EV, you're using an industrial amount of electrical energy through that charging cable. But there is one huge difference, and that is that the fueling of combustion vehicles takes place in a very highly controlled and regulated environment, the fueling station, which has fire suppression systems, safety procedures, cameras, attendants, cleanup equipment and all the other things required to minimise the risk of incidents and deal with them if they occur. But with home charging, you're essentially on your own, and we're already seeing owners coming up with MacGyver or Heath Robinson style solutions to the problems they face, be it laying cables across footpaths or running domestic extension leads out to the street. Of course, you wouldn't expect your average family to know enough about electrical or power engineering to know that this kind of thing is very dangerous. And there's your problem, right there. An EV is by far the most powerful electrical appliance in any household. If you've got ducted air conditioning installed in your house, you may draw 10 kilowatts, and that is permanently wired into the electricity supply. But with three-phase home charging, you're operating at 22 kilowatts, nearly 100 amps at 240 volts. So we're suddenly bringing industrial-scale electrical apparatus into your average home. And even if you stick to your regular slow charger, your granny charger, there are still many opportunities to screw things up, as this story indicates. Victorian EV fire sparks warning for Australian drivers. Sparks. Get it? A potentially deadly blaze in an Australian garage has prompted authorities to offer advice to EV owners. Electric vehicle owners have been warned to use the correct equipment when charging, following a potentially deadly blaze in Victoria. Firefighters responded to a blaze in Glen Waverley last week, following emergency calls to 000. They extinguished a blaze that severely damaged a Nissan Leaf EV as well as a Genesis luxury sedan. 2 people and a dog escaped serious injury from the blaze. The service's fire investigation unit combed through debris and determined the fire was not caused by the electric vehicle, but from a travel adapter connected to an aftermarket charging lead. The Nissan Leaf does not include a cable designed for home charging with a household power point. Nissan's Australian website states that you may elect to consider a portable charging contingency cable which can be plugged into a standard domestic power point. This cable is not supplied as standard with your vehicle and is an aftermarket accessory which can be purchased from your Nissan EV dealer. Genuine EV charging cables can cost more than $500, which pushes some owners to consider cheaper alternatives from third-party suppliers. Quite frankly, it's a miracle that this kind of thing doesn't happen more often when you see the truly insane lengths that some EV owners go to in order to charge their cars on the street. Check out the fishing rod video up here. The push towards EVs is moving the refueling process from the safe, controlled environment of the petrol station to the home, and that's inevitably going to result in some owners taking shortcuts or cost-saving measures, which increase the risk of fire or injury. And while petrol, and particularly diesel, are essentially benign until heat is applied, the same cannot be said of electricity, which is hot all the time. The question to be asked is whether the average man in the street can be trusted to abide by the tougher safety rules when charging EVs, or whether we're just going to see more and more of these fires as the years go by.